Honourable members, it will soon be 1 year since the deadliest attack committed against Jews since the Shoah. And this attack and the war that has ensued in Gaza has ignited anti-Semitism at a level not witnessed since the foundation of the European Union. Hatred in any form is fundamentally against our values. So we have to mobilise all efforts to combat this scourge for our Jewish communities, for our Muslim communities, and for anyone or any group facing discrimination and violence. In these difficult times, the Commission stands by the Jewish communities. Our thoughts are with the hostages from the October 7th attack, and of course, our thoughts are with their families. We need the release of the hostages, and we need an immediate and enduring ceasefire. As President von der Leyen said before this House in July, and I quote, "The bloodshed in Gaza must stop. Too many children, women and civilians have lost their lives as a result of Israel's response to the Hamas brutal terror. The people of Gaza cannot bear any more. Humanity cannot bear it." Anti-Semitism, as well as other forms of hate speech and hate crime, have increased exponentially across our continent, particularly since last October. The Third Fundamental Rights Agency survey on anti-Semitic experiences of Jewish people, released just 2 months ago, showed that 96% of Jews in Europe encounter anti-Semitism, either online or offline. We all have a direct interest in engaging to combat this trend. Anti-Semitism wounds its victims and our Jewish communities, but it also threatens the cohesion of our society, fostering polarisation and radicalisation, and silencing entire sections of the population, putting our democracies at risk. This is why fighting anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred are EU priorities, and why we are active on a number of fronts. After October the 7th, the Commission and the High Representative adopted a series of strong policy actions, part of the joint communication No Place for Hate, and bolstered the implementation of its EU anti-Semitism strategy. A revised code of conduct on countering illegal hate speech online will soon be adopted in the framework of the Digital Services Act. It will reinforce signatories' commitments to take swift action against hate speech, including anti-Semitism online. In addition, entities with expertise in flagging anti-Semitic and other hateful content online can now benefit from the DSA's trusted flagger mechanism. This will engage platforms in additional commitments to reduce hate and anti-Semitism online. Europol has successfully taken concerted action in a referral action day with 18 countries and major online service providers to identify and remove anti-Semitic content online. The EU anti-Semitism strategy has led to national strategies in 21 member states, and we expect all countries to adopt their own strategies. 19 member states have already appointed national envoys or coordinators. These member states also use the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition, which covers Israel-related anti-Semitism, the most common form of anti-Semitism encountered by Jews. Freedom of expression is a fundamental right and an important building block of our democracy. But this freedom is not absolute, and hate speech is not free speech. So we continue to enforce actions based on the framework decision on combating racism and xenophobia by means of criminal law to ensure a resolute response to racist and xenophobic hate speech and hate crime. Following the October 7th attack, we allocated additional resources to support the security of Jewish communities and institutions. The Commission made available €5 million to specifically fund projects aimed at protecting Jewish places of worship, schools and community gatherings. We also joined forces with international partners and in July signed global guidelines on countering anti-Semitism along with 41 countries and special envoys. These are examples of concrete action taken to fight anti-Semitism and ensure peaceful coexistence in Europe and beyond. It is intolerable that in today's Europe, Jews are hiding again. We want Jewish life to thrive, not to hide. Finally, in April and May this year, the Commission organised a European Citizens Panel on tackling hatred in society. Citizens from across the European Union came together to discuss how to respond to hate and polarisation, including anti-Semitism. They came up with 21 recommendations. The President's political guidelines commit to following up on these recommendations. I thank you for your attention.